Dear Mr. and Mrs. Potts, I regret to inform you that your son, Graham Potts, was killed in active duty this past week. While the details surrounding his death are classified, I am honored to tell you that he died in service of his country. You can be proud of his courage in the face of danger and his commitment to protecting our nation against his enemies. He will be remembered by his comrades and colleagues. I sincerely regret the pain this message will bring you. Take some solace in knowing that his sacrifice helped protect the country he loves so much. His effects will be returned to you with all speed. Sincerely yours, Howard J. Murray.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mailroom. They can fly now. Great.
Oh. Check.
I have a feeling he'll be back. Let's stay focused. The hotline should be past the mailroom.
Alright, let's see. Let's find out about that guy. His elevated agents display abilities similar to telekinetic competencies observed in Bureau para-utilitarians. Some prefer to charge their targets, while others launch objects at them. Telekinetic attacks have been ineffective against the Hiss elevated due to their own talent in the area. They do not use any weaponry except their own paranatural capabilities. Some Hiss elevated have been seen levitating while strapped into chairs. This is likely the result of individuals being corrupted while undergoing cognitive recording and parapsychology. How are they able to use paranatural abilities? Is it possible that these individuals are bound to objects of power prior to corruption? It's also worth considering that the Hiss resonance can identify and express latent paranatural ability in the individuals it corrupts. Butte summary. A spate of disappearances was traced to a home in the city of Butte, where Bureau agents discovered a translocative light switch cord. Bureau agents arrived at the home of a local celebrity located at blank, which has been connected to a total of blank disappearances in the area. Agents found no one inside. While searching a closet, an agent pulled the light switch cord and disappeared from view. Another agent was selected to pull the cord in order to replicate the event. He disappeared as well. Both agents were discovered at the oldest house days later, found in a sealed room by rangers exploring a new area of the house. The light switch cord in Butte's home closet disappeared during this incident.
Alright, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff at the U.S. Embassy in Havana was caused by sonic weaponry in the hands of a foreign power. Numerous personnel have damage to the inner ear, but most are expected to make a full recovery. Of course, the event also damaged their cellular walls, but we can't blame that on some stupid noise gun. Thank God no local doctors examined them first. Honestly, what the odds an alternate item would show up inside a U.S. embassy? Talk about good luck, huh? So much easier to... Hey, are you still recording this?
Alberto Tomasi, head of comms.
Strange collection. Well done, everyone. It was a strong campaign and perfectly executed. Alberto Tomasi.
The Hiss got him. The hotline can't be far now.
Hotline chamber. Butte Street supplement. According to their testimony, the agents have been transported from the Butte home to a roadside motel named the Ocean View Motel and Casino and discovered a room key by performing a ritual. The key opened a door marked with an inverted black pyramid, which they only learned after a lengthy period of trial and error. After pulling another motel cord found inside the room, they were transported to the old house. The disappearances of the home's owner and other locals of Butte have been attributed to the light switch cord. The Ocean View Motel is now known to have many doors and pathways. Since the occurrence, identical light switch cords to the one found in the Butte home have begun appearing throughout the oldest house. At the time of writing, light cords have been found in the oldest house, located in the blank and blank sectors. These all access the Ocean View Motel, though how exactly this link operates is blank, but initial hypotheses center on the Butte AWE as a blank. Security log. Trench, Bill Everett, custodian. Trench, Bill Everett. Trench, Everett. Carl Bishop, another custodian. He's the most recent.
The Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream logic. The light switch cord. The door marked with the black pyramid.
Let's pull the light switch. Oop. Oh man. Can't tell me dream logic and then show me a blank floor and not expect me to try and walk on it. Time. Hey Malcolm, yes, tea time is at 7. I'll see you at the course on Sunday morning. By the way, have you heard about this Tennyson report? Apparently there's a bunch of copies drifting around the office. Trench is looking to get his hands on any information about who wrote it. You wouldn't happen to have heard anything about that, would you? See you Sunday, Jim. Ow.
listening to America Overnight, mystifying the airwaves for more than 29 years. Thank you for staying up with us. Ghosts. We've had many callers over the years tell us of hauntings, voices, and other phantasmagorical phenomena. Today, friend of the show, Dr. Quincy Reagan, tells his story. Quincy.
Thanks. This is something I experienced recently while staying at the Chili Pines Motel in Macon for last year's SuspiciaCon. I was in room 47. The night manager, an avid listener of the program, insisted I take this particular room. Now, the manager explained that years back, the body of a man was discovered under the bed. Inside that wooden border that motel beds tend to have. The body had been there weeks. Guests had stayed there, sleeping with the corpse or foot below 'em. They only found the body when housekeepers complained about the smell. Hauntings have been reported in room 47 ever since. I happily took the room. I fell asleep pretty quick, checking under the bed first, of course. No ghosts visited me, no chilly spots or flickering lights. But when I woke up, I found myself under the bed. It was dark and stiflingly hot. Luckily, I was able to push the mattress off and crawl out before I suffocated. The night manager was kind enough to find me another room.
Oh, there you have it, listeners. What we call ghosts take many forms. Quincy was brave enough to tell his story, and I encourage you to keep calling and writing whenever you encounter something strange, something you can't explain. Maybe you're seeing colors that we have no name for. Maybe your toaster is possessed. Remember, dear listeners, when no one else believes you, we do. America Overnight, we'll be right back.
Somewhere along the line, things went weird. No one was sure how this happened, whether it was something caused by someone or something, or if it just happened by itself. There were a lot of stories, everyone had a theory on how it happened, and which have the weirdest and perhaps only fittingly singled out here was the talk about a strange golden space helmet that someone had found and a secret research project to replicate and manufacture those helmets. It was said that the helmet offered a way to another place different from this one, but whether that other was actually a place or just something that came over you when you were wearing the helmet, no one knew. Not even the scientists in charge of the project. In any case, so the myth went. The helmets, or the people trying them on, brought the other closer to here, and things got weird. Things that people had learned to take for granted, like technology and physics and religions, and time and stuff, just stopped working like they used to, stopped altogether, or became something different. There were lots of accidents and terrible catastrophes at first. Most people died and disappeared, and in some places it rained flowers, and in others blood. And sometimes the other was very close, and everything rippled and warped as something big in the other passed close by. And sometimes it was even almost like the old times. In time, people adjusted and adapted and learned to use the new things and lost to fix some of the old, but mostly, as time went by, people just forgot that things had ever been different and the weird became normal. Everyone, at least everyone who believed in the myth, thought that the golden helmets and those who wore them were bad. They seemed to have a something for those in the golden helmets, even awake when they were hardly ever seen anymore, were often, on those rare occasions, doing bad things. Luckily, the other gave many people strange abilities, and a few heroes rose to fight the bad things. And lots of bad things and lots of good things as well. But now, even more than before, the other things were ambiguous and never simple or clear, and people rarely could tell the good from the bad. In any case, things went on, and it was almost never boring. Who wrote this? Report to Dr. whoever. Back to the hotline. Again.
Whoa. Have we been here before? No. I've stayed at a lot of roadside motels across the country, on the road, on the run, under the radar. This feels like all of them, like something recognized from a dream. Hello? Anyone here? Key has a black pyramid on it.
Jesse going to the hotline. The hotline Seashell is a transmitter bridge. Directors can call the board long distance. Oh shit. Well done, Dial Director. You can talk us past selves in the Hotline Collectibles menu. Expect impulsive weekly calls.
It is a phone. It's an object of power. It doesn't connect to any typical network. A direct line to the astral plane and the board. And my hypothesis is, under the right conditions, to other planes of existence as well.
A director needs a team. My management team. These people know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. Darling, Tomasi, Salvador, Marshall. Marshall especially, my head of operations. She sees right through me. She knows I don't like relying on people. The only person you should fail is yourself. But things change when you become director.
I have it. The hotline. I can reach Trench. Well, listen to him. He feels more like an echo. An echo with important info. I need to get back to Emily. People react strongly when I tell them about you. Is it too soon to tell Emily? She might be able to help.
Oh. Bureau funding. To all executive staff, I know there is some concern regarding our operations exceeding the annual budget. So long as we operate within the oldest house, we are obscured from scrutiny in many respects. If our budget demands are not exorbitant to the point of drawing attention, then they will be granted by the U.S. Treasury without question. The FBC is just another line in another spreadsheet that some lowly accountant won't even notice. Their eyes will skip over us as if we weren't even there. The nature of the oldest house allows us certain freedoms in how we operate. Our being here is no accident. Regards, Zachariah Trench. Let's see. Hotline. Objects should be inaccessible for use except to the director. Object is a 1960s era red Bakelite telephone. The rotary dial has been replaced with a black knob of unknown purpose. The phone weighs blank. The object allows the director to communicate with the blank. If used by anyone other than the director, the object calls lethal blank. The object is currently bound to Director Trench. Background. The object spontaneously manifested in the director's office, placed on the desk. Director Northmore was the first known Bureau agent to use it. A battery of tests were run on the object, including blank and blank, but its origin remains unknown.
Jesse, did you get the hotline? I mean, how is it out there? The comms? The hiss? Sorry. You made it. I'm glad.
Emily? Let's talk.
Of course.
Initial impressions. Initial encounters with the entity known as the Hiss have revealed various behavioral facts. Most notably, the Hiss is able to invade or corrupt control points, altered items, and even humans, radically changing their behavior. Curiously, any person wearing one of the wearable HRA devices that Dr. Darling has been distributing over the past weeks was not affected by this corruption. The only known exceptions to this fact is the new director, Jesse Faden, who possesses an inherent immunity to the hiss. This could indicate that she has already been corrupted, but her behavior is so in contrast to that of the other hiss that I have dismissed the theory. My final observation comes from Miss Faden herself. She's able to cleanse material and organisms of the hiss corruption. We tested this ability on a hiss corrupted entity, but unfortunately the process seems to kill the host. Perhaps the host's physiology becomes reliant on the hiss. More work must be done.
I got the hotline. I can make out what Trench is saying now.
Incredible. What did he say?
He talked about his management team. People who knew the Bureau's secrets. Your boss, Darling. Tomasi, but he's gone. He's gone. Salvador?
He's the head of security.
And Marshall?
Helen Marshall is head of operations. She's tough, ex-CIA. She took her rangers and went to the research sector to secure the HRA production. She hasn't come back.
Someone who could help us. The other sectors. How do I get there?
It's impossible because of the internal lockdown. You can perform a directorial override to lift it, but that can only be done in the maintenance sector. Normally, you take the sector elevator down there. It connects all the sectors, but it won't work while the lockdown is in effect.
We already got past one lockdown. Maybe I can find a way.
Jesse, look, with no prep, no training, in this extreme situation, you are doing phenomenally well. And all that and the hiss can't seem to affect you. I mean, I would love to run some tests on you. If you agree, that is. We could find out something that would help us.
Tests? I don't know. She might find out about you. But I wouldn't mind understanding more myself. Okay. If you think it will help.
Great. I'll check the internal documentation for any lockdown bypasses. We need to get these sectors open to locate Darling and Marshall.
And I'll look for a way inside the maintenance sector. The sooner we find one, the sooner I reach this override.
Unknown caller. Let's check out the
Do you hear
real
that? Someone's singing. Where's it coming from?
Singing. Sounds like it's coming from the elevator.
By obtaining a live specimen.
Here? But we don't have the proper facilities.
Maybe.
Alright, ooh, more health, more energy, more melee, more launch chip damage. I am pretty squishy. Para-utilitarian. It's 50% to lock damage. And more energy, more power to throw stuff.
We can bring in an observation unit.
Astral contact. constructs, weapon forms, mods. Oh, I can make stuff here. Cool. Let's see. Upgrade. Threshold remnant. Alright. Construct shatter. Sure, let's construct a shotgun. Astral construction.
The containment sector. I'll put in a request local.
Survival tactics. Target his guard. Oh, little side missions. Let's see. Kill it. You are stronger than them. Difficulty easy. Kill 5. Kill his guards with melee. Kill enemies without dying. Oh, great. Okay. Using grip. Kill enemies with headshots. Kill enemies with a service weapon in any mode. Okay. Alright, anywho. Let's see. Now I have a shatter. Let's see. More projectiles fired. Low on health. Less recoil is good.
The hit? Hi, Jesse.
Nothing new.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
Let's see. Go see a janitor.
Hope has asked us to document the history of infiltration.
You mean like in person?
In person, with the principal. And she's trying to get
Time to work. Meet me in the maintenance.
Like I said before, the janitor is a friendly face. The maintenance sector is the janitor domain. If I can find Ahti here, he can help me reach the override. Maybe it was you who got out of the oldest house with the lockdown. Maybe it was Ahti. It felt like he made the elevator appear that took me to Trench's office. Is Ahti guiding me too? The directorial override is right there, in the control room. How do we get there? What's down that way?
A merry chase. Whoa! Nowhere. Cleanse merry-go-round horse object of power.
Ugh. This place makes me nauseous. An object of power. How do you think it got down here? A carousel horse. Why is kid stuff always so creepy?
Yay, and evade!
Let's see the Hess keep up with me now.
Shifting positions. Merry-go-round horse. Objects should be kept in a confined space when unbound. A fiberglass horse once used as a seat for a merry-go-round ride. The pole is still connected to the object. The object is capable of moving short distances at high speeds. This can be quite dangerous when blank its path. The object is currently bound by blank. The object was discovered at the site of an abandoned amusement park. Local blank reported that the rides would move on their own and they would be chased out. When these rumors reached the Bureau, agents were dispatched to investigate. 3 local blanks were found dead at the scene. The object attacked Agent Blank by blank. Agents invoked Formula C5 to blank the object long enough to blank. Oh boy, another TV show.
Stepping to the FBC, there's lots to do, there's lots to read, but you don't touch, and don't see much. Let's join the Treasure Keys. Let's join the Treasure Keys. drawing the pyramid. The what? The pyramid.
What's a pyramid?
The Black Pyramid. It's in the astral plane.
Airplane?
Astral plane. It's big, white, and empty. Or is it? It's a weird, crazy alien dimension. The white goes on forever. You can get lost in all that white and never find your way back home.
I miss my home.
Well done. You got the job. It's place for congratulations. Yippee, saatana. It happened in the last drop. I truly need an assistant.
Funny thing is, I've been a janitor. I'm more at home in that role than as the director. Only Ati here seems to see that.
Yeah, hi, Ati. Look, we need to get the lockdown lifted, otherwise I can't get to the other sectors. Can you help me get to the override?
Yes, yes. Easy peasy. It's just around the corner. But first, we need to get you working. Very small, couple of hours job.
Something tells me it's gonna be more than that.
Yaha. You think there's a dog buried in this? I can tell you are not yesterday's Krause's son. That's why you'll make a great assistant. Very well. I'll hit the facts on the table. Mä kyllä sanon perkele suoraan, että this house has a vermin problem. A bad one. They've already messed up the cooling pumps. And the power generators of a power plant, perkele. And the pensioner inside is starting to feel the band around his head tighten. The situation needs to be fixed before the plant blows up. And we all disappear like a fart in Sahara.
Trying my best to keep up with this. Fix the coolant pumps and the power generators, otherwise the power plant will blow.
But don't you worry. I've left you clear instructions. You'll catch the end of the thread before I go to my vacation. The work's on the task board here. You can do later, when you have time.
Vacation? Right.
Yes, no one's gonna cancel my holiday or seat's gonna rattle. But don't worry at all. You'll take care of it and soon this crisis gonna be last winter's snow. You better go now, so you don't have to run with your head as your third leg. The door in the back leads to the plant.
The door in the back. That's great. Thank you, Ati.
What a miss. Burn the trash.
Burn the trash. Throw it in the fire. Burn it all. Burn it into a reindeer, not into a moose.
Okay, so what happens again if that thing blows up?
Power. Explosion. Too much. Director's duty. Keep the lights on. Northmoor was director before me. I never wanted his job. I never wanted power. I purposefully avoided it. Didn't trust it. Didn't want to rely on it. Northmoor was all about power. A man like an explosion, hungry for authority, for order, for more, until it was too much. I had to find a solution in the end. Contain the situation. Northmoor never liked me, but he went along with it, to his credit. He didn't really have a choice. I suppose at the end of the day, a director's most basic duty is to keep the lights on. Here's to you, Northmoor. There were no prime candidates waiting in the wings, but I was there. Had been the whole time, keeping my head down, working my ass off. I had nothing to lose. I picked up the gun almost on a dare.
An object of power escaped the Panopticon a couple of weeks ago, and they want everyone to keep an eye out for it. So if anyone sees a merry-go-round horse zipping around the sector, alert me immediately. Do not try to contain it on your own, and definitely don't bind it to yourself. So your security thief, Simon Arish. I got it. NSC power plant.
It's dangerous out here, lady. Go see Chief Arish. He's just inside. He'll help you.
Ma'am! Hey! Chief Arish, FBC Security. Shouldn't you be in a safe room?
They all have HRAs. We're on the same side.
My name is Jesse Faden. I'm here to perform the directorial override to get the lockdown lifted.
Yeah, Chief Arish, FBC Security. I'm just... Oh, hang on, you're the new director. It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Let's skip the formalities, please.
Right. Faden, ma'am. Look, as you can probably tell, it's a bit of a shit show down here. We've been holding our ground, but whatever's gotten into our buddies has them wrecking the coolant pumps and the power converters. The NSC keeps overheating, and my crews keep getting shot before they have a chance to make any repairs.
NSC?
Oh, sorry. Bureau jargon. It's what we call the power plant. You know, the big rumbling metal thing? Salvador, head of security, asked me to protect it in case of an attack. See, what's inside is dangerous. Dr. Darling seemed to know it would be a target.
Darling? He's here?
No, it came down a few days ago, before everything went to hell. He was out of it. Smelled like a bar mat. He was ranting about vulnerabilities and how he only had one large-scale HRA, but that he needed it somewhere else. Still, at least he gave us these personal HRAs before he left. Hey, did I mention that he was tearing his clothes off? Crazy dude.
Darling knew the hiss was coming.
Listen, I love playing 20 questions as much as the next guy, but we have got to get the water and electrical systems repaired before this baby blows. I'll have my guys unlock the doors out of here for you.
I'll take care of it. You stay and keep the hiss away from the plant if you can.
The hiss? That's what we're calling him? Oh, that's catchy. Oh, listen, the radios aren't working, so if you find my boss Salvador out there, could you please ask him what the plan is? I'm sure he will have one by now.
I'll keep an eye out for him.
He sure has a lot of faith in his boss.
Try to stay alive.
Hey Simon, I got your message. Yeah, if someone in the sector is asking about Ati, just tell him you'll handle it and leave it at that. Under no circumstances should any personnel intervene with his day-to-day routine. I told you everything I know about him so you could better deal with his odd habits, but yes, it's still very much a classified matter. Also, I saw your report about the quarry worker who wandered into the Foundation. Detaining him was the right move. We'll figure out what he saw before we decide on next steps. Cheers, Lynn. P.S. In case you hadn't noticed, something is up between Trench and Darling. I know this isn't your strong suit, but try your best to stay out of it.
We need those pumps and converters.
When the converters and coolant pumps are working again, we should be able to get this baby back down to a safe temperature. I hope.
What do you know about the hiss?
Not much, only what I've seen. Well, they use the same tactics that Marshall and Salvador taught us, which makes me think that the hiss haven't completely erased the people inside, which is a pretty fucking horrible thought. Or they're just using whatever they find in their victims' heads. In any case, they are really eager to get inside the power plant.
Why do you think that is?
Shit, I don't know. They want to make my life harder?
What do you do here, Arish?
Security chief of the maintenance sector. I make sure all the weird shit down here doesn't bother the maintenance crews. Learned everything I know from Salvador. The best security agent this bureau has ever seen.
And you like your job?
I love it. You know, everyone thinks that maintenance is the lowest rung on the ladder just because we fix pipes instead of writing memos, but I gotta be honest. These are the bravest people in the goddamn building. I'm proud to work with them.
I've done a few odd jobs with these kind of folks. They say what they mean. I like that.
What exactly is the power plant?
Listen, I only know what Salvador told me, but I know it generates all the electricity for the Bureau, and it's got two very simple rules. Rule 1, keep it below a certain temperature. Rule 2, don't ever, ever open it. Oh, and 3, it's classified, so I shouldn't ask.
Sounds like secrets are standard operating procedure around here.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of the job.
What do you know about the service weapon?
Not much. That thing is director only. Salvador told me by the time he saw Trench use it. Sounds like that gun can do some serious damage. Yeah, I did see pictures of it once, though, and it looks different to that thing you're carrying. You modded or something? It's new.
Is new a good thing?
Given the circumstances, I'd say new is our best bet.
Do you know this Ati guy?
Of course. He's my favorite coffee break buddy. Dude has got some crazy stories. And he probably knows more than anyone else around here. If you can make sense of what he's saying.
Any idea where he's from?
I'm guessing Sweden.
He's from where he's from. Look, there are just some stones that are better left unturned, you know?
I should be going.
Right. You got a lockdown to lift. Is the clock back? Now.
Ritualistic thinking. We've got 3 points. Health, energy, launch. Need a lot more stuff. Threshold points. Headshots. Service weapon.
It's fried up. You need to fix it before the old twig pants inside the plant has a shit fit.
fix the pumps and water flow.
Next game is on Wednesday at 8, usual spot. Hazard, owes me $20. Erish, still on a fucking winning streak. Someone please figure out how he's cheating. Thompson, suspended for a game because of that shady dealing incident. Guy, I owe you $60. I brought beers last time, so it's Hepstenstall's turn. Remus. Consecutive kills boost. Health boost. Charge mode. Targeting hit, kill enemies in the executive sector.
Eyes open. We ain't out of the woods yet.
Coolant pumps. This way. Coolant pumps. Blind as a bat.
My name is Dr. Pierce, lead researcher of the Parakinesiology Department. I believe that I've discovered a Code Omega paranatural entity residing within the Bureau itself, right under our noses. Darling refused to allocate me the budget or resources, so I'm taking matters into my own hands. Let this recording be the proof I need to convince them. The furnace can speak, It's been talking to me for some time now. Listen. Did you hear that? It's a sentient force capable of communicating. I checked, and there's no record of ever installing this furnace. I believe that... Yes, I can feed you. What do you eat? I see. I'll try to find some volunteers.
Oh, jeez. Hiss-charged. The hiss-charged agents are examples of extreme physical deformation resulting from hiss corruption. Hiss-charged display an unthinking fixation on any non-corrupted individuals in the area. Once within a specific proximity, they erupt into a burst of focused hiss resonance, so dense that it acts as a physical force. The hiss-charged is depleted of the hiss corruption after this eruption. The host is left lifeless. This behavior may be an adaptive response to the HRAs, the hiss charge designed to blow the devices off potential hosts, exposing them to the resonance. Is the hiss capable of customizing a corrupted host's altered ability to this degree? Why is the physiology of the hiss charge so dramatically different from the host's original form? Lots of questions, no answers.
By trash, did Ati mean barrels full of hazardous biological? Seems like I'm breaking some environmental regulations on waste disposal. If that's what Ati wants, then I'll get it done.
Hey, Bozer, get this. The accounting department still says they haven't received my expense reports. They say the receipts probably got lost in the mail tubes because of a shift of a threshold or some such fuckery and that if I don't have the originals, they can't verify my expenses for reimbursement. This is such bullshit. Why do we even use these fucking tubes if they just spill our mail out in some other goddamn dimension? Just venting here before I make a formal complaint. All useless pieces of shit, Rodriguez. kill. Projectile speed. They're all common. Damage, why not? Kill with headshots, got it.
We need to fix this thing ASAP.
More of this goo. NSC coolant pumps.
Bro, go to city. Fix it fast. If the plant goes boom, we can throw the spoon in the corner.
Thank you. That gross blockage down in the water systems is back. What the fuck is it, and where does it keep coming from? And why the hell does Adi keep yelling nonsense at it? He acts like it can understand him. Of course, he acts like we can understand him too. Guess that's just his brand of crazy. I'm gonna try a new drain cleaner. Extreme strength.
The clock is blocking the pipes. You need to deal with that shit. He is very clever. He's trying to sneak in. We got him caught with his hand in the fish trap.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. don't like that sound. Let's go lift the lockdown.
Trooper second. Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter unknown AWEs, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous situation. They are heavily armored and heavily armed in preparation for the worst. As a result of their role, his troopers have access to the heaviest armor and weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the hiss resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that, to the telekinetically talented, enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition.
Everyone feels a lot safer when you're around.
I should be going.
Right. You gotta lock down the lift.
Two ability points. Not enough for that. Or launch damage, why not? Ooh, launch grenades and rockets back at the enemy. War games. His charged. Kill his charged. Kill enemies with 7 web in charge mode. Kill enemies in the sector. Ooh, spin. Equipped at a time. Accuracy. Headshot damage. Why not? Thresholds. The oldest house is a place in flux. Thresholds appear with no warning. What this threshold will contain is a question we can only answer once it manifests. The wildly accepted theory is that thresholds are dimensions vibrating on a blank frequency different from our own. When these frequencies match, the threshold will manifest in the oldest house, which acts as a blank. Others theorize thresholds are parallel universes or possibly our own reality at a different point in time. Some believe our collection of altered materials affects the house or attracts the thresholds. We do know that for certain that thresholds are not permanent. Eventually their frequency will shift. Some believe Earth itself is just another threshold connected to the oldest house, which is actually rooted in some other reality. This theory, while impossible to disprove, causes blank in those who learn of it, so it is actively denied. Let's see what's down here. Good defense. Ooh. Training course.
So I just read this? Welcome to the Ranger Field Training course. The course must be completed in the specified amount of time. When you're ready to start, press the button. Is that all, or?
I always did love obstacle courses.
Get ready, Ranger. Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Failed.
Ah.
Get ready, Ranger. Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Remaining. 30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds remaining. Course complete. Congratulations, Ranger.
Guessing this isn't usually part of the course. It's protecting itself.
Safe. The copies have been given weapons projectiles. Shield yourself to pass level up. Insular telekinesis.
Good time to have a shield.
Plastic tree procedures. Holiday Memories Tree. Item must be contained within a soundproof cell. A Holiday Memories brand white plastic tree with green plastic stand. The item repeats words and phrases spoken in a range of blank feet, always in a tone below blank hertz. This verbal mimicry has profoundly distressing effects on the individual it's copying. The item was taken from the blank Canadian research station established on Ross Island in Antarctica, where it was used to celebrate the holiday season. In 1979, solar radiation damaged the radio, severing the base's only means of communication with the world. After the frozen passages opened, a military expedition visited the base to re-establish contact. They found the base's occupants in various states of madness, rambling about the voices in the tree. Military personnel discovered they also had heard the tree speaking. After locking the item in a supply crate, they brought it back to the mainland, at which point the Bureau intervened. Look out for a Christmas tree. I'd like to file a formal complaint, re the unauthorized use of my voice in a state of quality that I did not agree on. The fact that they were planning to use material from what I thought was a rehearsal was not communicated to me at all. Had it been, I would have disallowed the use of those recordings. I want use of the Ranger Field Test Training Course recorded messages to halt immediately. I will not stand for this humiliation among my peers. I will go to HR with this if necessary. Signed, Randall Pulaski. Safe. No unique procedures required. The object is a guardhouse brand home safe. Weight measurements vary. When bound, the object allows para-utilitarians to telekinetically gather items and debris from their surroundings. This object is currently bound by blank. Discovered in the basement of a home in blank, Ohio, the object gained rapid interest in certain online forums dedicated to opening and abandoning safes. After months of failure, the owner attempted to open it with explosives. The object survived with no physical damage. Bureau agents were dispatched, now confident of its paranatural nature. Blood occasionally emerges from the seam around the object's door. Tests confirm the blood is not human. X-rays taken of the object indicate that something is trapped inside, though the images are always blurred, which indicates the contents of their object are moving. All attempts to open the object have been unsuccessful. Listen, Trench is on the warpath about this Tennyson report thing. He wants to know who wrote it, and he wants to know yesterday. Whoever did is gonna get crucified. I don't know if it was one of you guys, and I don't want to know. I'm not super keen on leading a witch hunt, so tell everyone in the sector to keep their heads down. But it's not to be on anyone's radar right now, you know? I tell ya, not even counting all the weird shit we deal with, this place can be downright hostile environment. Can be a downright hostile work environment sometimes. The safe object of power can produce a barrier using objects or material from its immediate vicinity. Bureau Rangers were given permission to employ heavy weaponry against a para-utilitarian bound to this object in order to gauge the barrier's durability. Blank and blank velocity ammunition were tested with blank results. Testing will continue after blank. The safe object of power is clearly a viable candidate for use in combat response scenarios. Allowing para-utilitarians to participate in altered engagements would be an advantage worth considering.
protect them. Forces contain. The lockdown only be lifted by a directorial override.
This is what we came here to do.
Better shield strength. Let's keep focusing on health.
That's it. The other sector should be open now. I think it's time I told Emily why I'm here. I'll risk it. You two should get to know each other.
Unless You, review by Captain Lopez. These days, most young adult novels intertwine the coming-of-age story with either a contrived dystopian setting or a tragic romance, unless you manage to do both. In the story, the protagonist and her love interest search for a cure to a virus called the Fix, which is simultaneously killing her and spreading across the world. To find the cure, they go on expeditions into dangerous, uncharted territories. The people all live in walled cities now because of the dystopian future. And along the way, they just have to fall in love. I liked how we never get to know if the fix was ever actually fixed. The ending was bold, especially for YA. The main character succumbs to the fix when she's so close to the cure and commands her love interest to go on and save the world. She knows this is the end for her, but that the job can still get done. She dies out in the unknown, alone, and surrounded by danger, but never loses sight of the goal. That's a good soldier's death. I give this book 3 out of 5. I feel most of the teenage angst is a little lost on me, but I'd recommend it to my brother's kids. Have a hotline too.
Something's coming. The whispers growing louder. The worst winter storm in Bureau history. A retribution for my sins. Our sins. This threat could destroy the Bureau, everything I've built. Destroy me. A web spun, turning this place against me. I catch glimpses of it in the corner of my eye. It's just out of reach. Elusive. It's clever. A perverse game of hide and seek. Is this part of an attack? Obfuscating the facts. Dimming my eyes. It's hard to tell. I need answers. I haven't heard back from Darling. I fear for my friend, my closest ally. I think we made a terrible mistake all those years ago. That thing he studies is putting us all in danger. It's my duty as director to keep the Bureau safe. It'll be difficult. What's done can't be undone. There's no easy fix. Magical thinking is a requirement for survival. Pain and suffering are mandatory. To change things, you have to break yourself. I don't know if I have the strength. I'm old and weak. I'm afraid. I can see my hands trembling. I'm losing control. So much is expected from the director. The responsibility, the privilege to steer the Bureau into dangerous waters and safely out again. To inspire and lead its people, to protect them. The board is there to advise you, but they want things in return. You hold all this in your old, trembling hands. I had to lose everything before I could see the Bureau is the director's life. There's no room for anything else. If the forces contained here escaped, we'd be dragged back into an age of superstition, terror, death. Assuming you think we ever really left that behind. Any emergency, any major containment breach, and the lockdown goes into effect. I implemented this security measure in my first years as director. I knew we were vulnerable. I'd personally seen the cost of sloppiness. I made sure the internal lockdown could only be lifted by a directorial override, only to be used when the director is confident the sectors are safe to be opened again. This way, the director is the last line of defense. And if I screw up, it's on me, and me alone.
They say the new director can launch objects up to 20 feet.
Bullshit. We've never recorded any distance over 5.
Obviously, you never read the P6 data.
Jesse, you made it. And you lifted the internal lockdown.
Let's talk, Emily.
Yes, of course.
Listen, Emily.
Screw it. Just tell her.
I haven't been completely honest. I have a younger brother, Dylan. When we were kids, we found an old slide projector in Ordinary's landfill. The slides created doorways to other places. Bad things happened. Came through.
That's all she gets. The rest stays locked inside.
But we found help. Through one of the doorways, we met something. A being.
A being? What kind of being?
It's hard to describe, but she helped us. We managed to turn the projector off. The bad things that came through the doorways were gone. After that, your people came. Tried to grab us. I ran away. They got Dylan.
I left him behind.
Bureau agents took your brother?
Yes. You covered it up. No one believed me. I just want to find Dylan. I've been looking for him ever since.
What happened to the slide projector? It sounds like another object of power.
I thought you took it. The Bureau. Along with Dylan.
I've never heard of it. But around here, I assume everything's classified. You know, I looked into the Ordinary AWE case files after you mentioned it. Trench and Darling were both involved. A large area of the containment sector was reserved for it. The case hasn't been active for a long time. I have no idea if anything's still there. Can you tell me more about this being you found?
Let's hope you two get along.
She's been with me ever since Ordinary. In my head. She led me to you. I call her Polaris.
As in a guiding star. Did Polaris know about the hiss? If she got you in here in spite of the lockdown, she's very powerful. Which may help explain your test results. Your readings are incredible, Jesse. Now, cross-referencing them with the database, I found 2 matches in Darling's old classified files. Unfortunately, I can't access them beyond the file codes. But one was P6, referring to a prime candidate for a potential future bureau director. This was logged years ago.
Dylan. Is that Dylan?
The other match is on something called Hedron, which must be connected to these Hedron resonance amplifiers somehow. All I know is that Marshall went to the research sector to secure the HRA production after the Hiss first attacked.
So, Marshall seems like our best lead on Dylan.
I need to go after her. How can I get to the research sector?
Use my keycard. The sector elevator will take you there.
Marshall is the next step. What Emily told me about Ordinary, my powers being connected to things in the Bureau's past. I am so close to something. Do you feel it? Something's coming.
We take turns to come for a visit. I helped you. You owe me now. And when time comes, I will come calling.
Directorial override. Old Boys Club. Major targets.
I heard the Hiss attacked the power plant. It brings up a lot of new questions. Are they communicating? Coordinating?
His spread is searching for transmission/speakers to corrupt chaos. Astral plane is conflict switchboard. The hiss will come for us all. We must stop, shut up them. Let's see. Shield strength, launch energy cost.
Hope has asked us to document the his incantation, she calls it.
You mean like in person?
In person, with a pencil and paper. I think she's trying to get us killed.
Central Research.
Welcome to the research sector of the Federal Bureau of Control. I'm Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Somebody thought this video would make for great internal communications. I'm looking at you, Mr. Tomasi. So, this is where the magic happens. Anyway, I've been here for 24 years now. I've always been here. And through those years, we've made astonishing discoveries, authored studies of grave importance, and in all this work, there is one thing we know, and that's how little we truly know. Rest assured, we're committed to keep pushing the known laws and borders of reality, and to make the Bureau proud. So, welcome. Assuming you have the necessary clearance, and do follow the safety protocols. Read the manual. Otherwise, bad things will happen.
Research sector, huh? Home of the Bureau's mad scientists.
possible AWE in which an unnamed individual experienced transcorporeality via a phone line. Event is notably similar to AWE blank, in which blank blank. Event is believed to have been caused by blank, and as a result, the following measures have been taken to prevent blank 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 blank. Oh, his sniper. Bureau snipers specialize in eliminating threats from a distance using telltale searchlights fixed to their rifles to search for targets. His snipers are no less lethal. The corruption has not changed their tactics. They clearly prefer to maintain a good distance from their target, waiting in elevated positions for a clear shot. Care should be taken in open spaces. Check the balconies. I should note that their rifles are equipped with a bayonet for close quarters combat, and his snipers are well aware of how to use it. Hey, so I was just wondering about the plants and research. Is it really necessary to sing to them? I mean, that janitor does have a nice voice, and the plants sure seem to like it. Maybe you could just switch it up a bit? I'm getting pretty tired of the tango. And where did these plants even come from? No one seems to remember when they were planted, and people like them a bit too much if you ask me. Are we being invaded by houseplants? Worth looking into, Dr. Lewis. Synchronicity is a phenomenon long recognized by the wise, but only recently given a name by science. It is how we rationalize events connected by no identifiable casualty, yet clearly conjoined in purpose. How does a dream foretell an event in the physical plane? Why do hounds bail at the death of their master, which has occurred miles away? The world is unified in ways we do not yet understand, and sometimes we stumble across these invisible, unseen chords and wonder at the result. The visionary Carl Jung laid the road, now we must walk it. My fledgling research department will make it our mission to reliably reproduce blank behavior by the close of 1959. Once done, the mechanics of synchronicity will lay themselves bare in due time. We are striding into the future of science. History may not remember our names, but God himself will. Darling's office. Dimensional research. Record keeper.
I've been fielding questions recently regarding HRAs. What are they for? Do you always need to wear them? And what's the deal with the headroom resonance anyway? Fuck. Despite what you may have heard, HRAs are not monitoring devices. We're not tracking your movements or listening to your conversations while you're wearing them. We do that regardless whether or not you're wearing an HRA. Think of them as a life preserver. Only instead of water, the thing HRAs protect you from is classified. One day that classified not water might pour in, and you'll be glad you got an HRA keeping you afloat. And if you don't have an HRA, don't worry. It'll be quick and painless. Kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
We're making more.
Lots of stuff in here. Resonance. It's there, but we can't see it. It vibrates around us, through us, from us. But what if the vibration is conscious? What could a force like that do? Blank opened the door to a blank I've called blank. The blank emits a force that is far beyond the forces we've previously dealt with. It has shown me so much that I have to wonder, is resonance the key element in all altered phenomenon? AWDs, altered items, objects of power, do they share a common blank that we have yet to discover? We can harmonize control points. What else could the correct frequency allow us to achieve? What if resonance has been the answer this whole time? Dear Dr. Darling, I suspect my colleague, Dr. Harrington, has already contacted you asking for an increase in her department's budget. I'm not surprised. Parapsychology has always been the squeaky wheel, all fuss but no results. Parakinesthesiology has always been the stronger department. More breakthroughs, more tangible data, more usable research. I'm sure a man of your esteem can plainly see which department is more deserving of the budget increase. Just think what those additional resources could do for an already formidable research team. Anyway, I know you're a fan of single malt, so I left a bottle of well-aged brown on your desk. Yours in admiration, Dr. Abraham Lewis. Cubes. The Bureau has spent years studying why objects of power transport us into the astral plane when touched. My predecessor, Dr. Ash, theorized that a potential receptacle, determined by Jungian archetypes in the collective subconscious, would be inhabited by paranatural energies when an AWE occurred in its vicinity, creating an altered item. Over time, a link was created by the blank, and the astral plane to that item, making it an object of power. So many additional theories have been raised since Dr. Ash's time. Objects of power were placed on Earth as tests by some astral entity. Our dimension was once part of the astral plane, and the objects were left behind as its borders receded. The astral plane was an early threshold into the oldest house, but the connection was severed, and now the two are linked solely through the objects of power. I will attempt to disprove some of these in order to thin the herd. Hopefully the truth will emerge. Dr. Darling is insistent that certain objects of power share a direct connection to the blank, an entity or group of entities that we have little information on, or little that I am allowed to access. In his written reports, he states that there is a clear link between these objects of power, the blank, the astral plane, and the oldest house itself. His work supposes these links are innate, a fact ingrained into the very blank of objects, such as the hotline or the service weapon. What if these particular objects were never linked to the blank, but had that connection forced upon them? Isn't it strange that no other objects of power require such direct contact with the blank? Isn't it strange that using the service weapon or the hotline will result in grievous harm or even death if the user is not the director, or at least worthy of the role? Why do we assume this involvement by the blank is a natural fact, not something more blank? Who among us has touched the foundations of the world and deemed them solid? Dr. Theodore Ash. Thresholds have always been sources of great inspiration and great challenge. When a new threshold manifests in the oldest house by blank, we never know what new discoveries it will provide to the Bureau, but we must always seize these opportunities. This report will examine the process of distinguishing recent threshold events based on their utilitarian possibilities. The quarry brought black rock, one of our most invaluable discoveries, but if the mold has any scientific value, it has been difficult to find due to the lengths we must go to in fighting back the particularly prolific plant. These are very distinct cases and worth comparing as their study offers vastly different dangers and rewards. Hi, Carla. Does it strike you as odd that Darling insists on having us appear in those bizarre videos of his? I mean, we just stand there. He doesn't even let us have lines or anything. Don't get me wrong, beats a day in the lab. Plus, it's always great to work with you. Oh yeah, I finished a comparative analysis of the 2 black rock samples you sent. The prism, or whatever you called it, I filed them in the usual place, under C for Carla. A handy mnemonic device, right? Haha. Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to discuss about the data. I'll gladly explain. Maybe we could chat about it over some drinks, or dinner even. Can't remember the last time I had a good steak. Maybe we could go together after work sometime. I'm free tomorrow. All the very best, Hubert.